Hello and welcome. I am Second Voltage, and today I'm going to be talking about why dinosaurs can't pronate their hands. Before we get into that, I'm first just going to mention I am going to be recording this live. Sort of. I mean, I'm not streaming it or anything. It's not being streamed live, but I am drawing at the same time as I am speaking. So, you may hear some clicks and things as I am using my computer that you would not normally hear because I would normally edit them out. But in this video, I will not be doing that because I am lazy, which is also why I am recording it at the same time. Now, I'm going to be talking about pronation and why dinosaurs cannot do it. Why? Well, first of all, what is pronation? It's a weird word. Many people don't know, but it's caused a lot of inaccuracy in how dinosaurs are depicted, because we used to think that dinosaurs could pronate their hands, but they can't. They could not. And it's caused some very, very stunning inaccuracies in how dinosaurs have been depicted. Especially in Jurassic Park, for instance. So what does a pronated hand look like? Well, if we're looking at the side, let's say we've got some kind of raptor here, some kind of dromaeosaur. This is going to be absolutely terrible. Whatever. Who cares about the legs? We don't care about the legs. So here is the arm, and they're going to have their hands downward like this, or more from the front. Downward like that, and that is how they are. That is how they are normally depicted in movies such as Jurassic Park. But it is wrong, because this is like a front view. There's the face there. Artwork! So if we were to draw it correctly, how they would hold their hands, it would be more like this. Sideways. It's kind of unusual. It's got two claws like a T-Rex, not many. I don't know. Did anything other than the T-Rex only have 2 digits in terms of dinosaurs? I don't know. I can't think of any. So possibly only T-Rex. No idea. Please tell me if you know of one that also has 2 digits. It isn't a T-Rex, but yes, they would hold it sideways. That's how the third one on. Oh, this looks terrible now. There's a terrible third digit. They would hold it sideways. So if you were to turn this into a human hand, so if this is your hand here, there's your nails. That would be a pronated, and this would be not. Oh, that looks terrible. Horrible sausage fingers. But yes, so if we were looking from top down, I could draw that better. Looking at the hand, top down, I've already not drawn it better. There you go, you can see that's clearly the top of the hand. And here it is, the other way up. So you can see this is the palm of the hand. We'll pretend this is the same hand. So if we're looking down from above, this one is pronated and this one is not. Okay. So now we understand what that word means in relation to limbs. Basically, you can't have, if you're pronating your hands, they are palms facing downwards. And yes, that's how most dinosaurs, especially theropod dinosaurs, tend to be depicted. But they couldn't do this at all. They held their hands sideways. So they might be able to clap their hands, but they certainly couldn't do those terrible dinosaur hands people always do. It is not true. It is a lie. It is lies. That was meant to be an eraser. Okay, so why is this? Why could they not pronate their hands? Well, it's to do with how the bones in the arm are formed. So most animals, most vertebrates all have the same kinds of bones. If you look at, especially mammals, but birds do as well. Plenty of most vertebrates, even if they look wildly different, like fish. Which I actually learned the other week. I learned that fish is not a scientific word, and how we define the word fish. Technically, you can also use it to define humans. So humans are technically fish. You could use it as a culinary term, because we associate if you eat fish, you are eating these little fishes. But in terms of a scientific term, then there's no, it's not really doesn't really describe what we think of as fish, and technically it also describes humans. So humans are fish. That is what I learned. What was I talking about? I started talking about fish. Yes, even fish have some of the same bones as us. But it's obviously, if you look at mammal bones, which are going to be the closest to us, you can very clearly see the similarities. And even if you're looking at dinosaurs or birds, which obviously are the same thing, but yeah, so even if you're looking at their wing bones, you can see that their wing bones are the exact same bones as we have in our arms, just elongated. It's probably even more obvious in bats, because they are, of course, mammals, and they basically just have arms just with really long webbed fingers. But yes, so let's look at the arm bones here. Here is an arm. Let's add a hand on the end, just so you can see. There's a terrible hand. But here is an arm. You've got all of this. I don't know what these bones are called. You've got all these weird little bones, which is not, I'm not depicting very well, but you've got like a mess of bones in this area. And then you've got your elbow right about here, and connecting your upper arm bone, you've got the hope I get these the right way around now. You've got the radius. I'm not drawing this very accurately, mind. So it's got a little bit that comes like that, and you've got the ulna, which is the other one. Which, okay, let's get rid of that because I'm drawing it horribly inaccurately now. And then you've got the ulna, which comes down somewhat like this. Yes, so we've got radius and ulna. And actually, let's get rid of this hand because this is wrong already. That kind of looked pronated already. So we're going to draw it this way. And this is the palm of the hand. and this is how the bones look like. No, they don't. I've kind of drawn it the wrong way round. That's the wrong arm. This is going great. That was the completely wrong side of an arm. So this is the palm of this hand. Lovely. This is the palm of this hand, not pronated. And when it does pronate, like this terribly hastily drawn hand here, because I'm taking way too long doing this. This bone, the radius, goes over. That's a very terrible diagram, but yes, basically the radius slides over the ulna like that in order to pronate it. And this is because the head of the bone, which is this, does a very weird thing, and it's present in most mammals, but not elephants. Elephants are basically have the same bones, but they are fused into this position, so their hands or feet or whatever elephants have are always pronated. So I suppose they have the same thing because they are mammals, but they don't use it because the bones are fused together. But most mammals tend to have this same thing as humans, where the head of the bone of the radius is shaped something like this. Just drawing a bit closer up of the radius, and then let's just shove the ulna next to it a little bit. There's that. It's not very good, but there's that. We're going to pay attention to the radius right here. So here's the radius, and the top is shaped kind of like this, and it's got this rim here. And how the ligaments attach is you have the ligaments, the muscle ligaments attached to the ulna like normal, coming in down the side there. But for the radius, I mean, I have no idea if this is... I only know the theory of this. I've not stared at, like, autopsy videos. So, it might... You know, disclaimer, this is not 100% accurate to what it looks like inside of your body. But, yes, basically the ligaments attach normally to the ulna, but to the radius, they don't actually attach. They sort of go around this bit, and that's why the top is like this, because it locks them in, and you also have this little notch here, and it locks them in to this space here, and that lets the radius be anchored to the elbow, but not actually be attached to it, which lets it rotate around the ulna, like that. And yes, it's able to rotate freely, and if you, I mean, you can hold your arm and you can kind of feel it as it rotates if you move it between the two different positions. And yeah, so that's how human work. This is how human work. But the dinosaur, they do not work like this. Instead, dinosaur, their bones, whilst they do have the very same bones, a radius and an ulna, in a dinosaur, they are shaped more like this. It's already going badly. More like this. This looks familiar. This shape looks familiar. It's probably because you've eaten a chicken or some other bird, and you've seen these bones in its wing, because it's exactly the same. And you'll probably notice that birds as well cannot pronate their wings. And it's exactly the same with dinosaurs. As you can see, right here, there is none of this going on. Instead, it is much more rounded. So there's not really any way that they would have been able to turn their hands with the palms down. It would have broken their arms if they. Well, they probably. I mean, have you ever tried to break your own bones? It's quite difficult. So I imagine they just either lack the physical ability to even attempt that, or they just instinctively would not. Their brain would just stop them from attempting to do it. But yes, if you did apply enough, a third person, if you were there with a dinosaur and you tried to apply enough force to pronate their hands, it would just break their little bones. Or big bones if it was a big dinosaur, because this is true for all dinosaurs, including sauropods, the big, long-necked boys, as seen in Pixar. Yes, let's just remember the Toy Story ones, and no, let's leave that, and forget in the Dinosaur logo, and forget, but then it's also in Cars, and I don't want to think about Cars either. Yes, let's not think about Cars or the Good Dinosaur. Let's pretend those don't exist. And yes, so sauropods. Well, you can see this clearly because we've found plenty of sauropod tracks where they have been walking around in herds, and you can see there's long stretches of their tracks where they've been migrating or just moving around to a slightly different area. I know there's a really big, massive load of them all together somewhere in Scotland on one of the islands. I forget which one. Yes, if you look at sauropod tracks, draw some bad ones here. They basically look something like this. These are a bit exaggerated, just to make my point. Not all of the digits would be quite this obvious in the actual tracks, but if you examine it, you can see where the digits would have been. So you can see whether these are the tracks, and you can see their thumb was it's pointing forwards, so you can see, and the fingers pointing outwards. So even though they're facing downwards, they are not in fact pronated. If they were pronated, they would be that way. They're not. So even large non-avian dinosaurs could also not pronate. Their hands, and you can see their bones are, whilst larger and more robust than smaller dromaeosaurs and raptors, that kind of thing, they still definitely would not have been able to do it. They may have been able to do it somewhat if they fully extended their arms, but not all of the way, because, you know, whilst there's not this shape here, again, there's not this to support the rotation, but, you know, it still was the two bones. They could still rotate a little bit, and if they use their entire arm, they would probably be able to do it somewhat. So let's just make the point clear. So if this is a very badly drawn, non-pronated And if they extended it out all the way, they might be able to go like some way, just like a little way, but not all of the way, not like that. No. Yes. But most of the time, really badly drawn, sideways, really bad. But yes, that is why I mentioned it in my last video with the T-Rex, because the T-Rex could not do the pronation. And if you're wondering what that means, or why that means, well, now you know. It's because their bones were not as good as our bones. And they simply had to have their hands sideways, as in this really terrible, not to scale drawing that I did in about 2 seconds, and it looks like actual garbage. You can tell these are tiny little sideways T-Rex hands, probably. Maybe. Who knows? But yes, now you know. Now you know why it takes me 5 million years to say anything, because I am incapable of normal human speech. And also, dinosaurs could not pronate their hands. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, would like to see more content, like it, blah blah blah, like and subscribe, blah blah blah. Do it!